All right, so on page 14 for number 1, the first thing I did on my double number line is I knew I was trying to find 40% of 80, 80 being my whole, which is equivalent to 100%. The first thing I did was I found 10% by dividing by 10, and 80 divided by 10 gave me 8. And then I was able to scale up 10 times 4 for 40%, and 8 times 4 for 32. So 32 was your solution for question 1. For question 2, a couple things you could do here. This is one way, but I'll talk you through a second one. So again, I found 10% of 60. So again, 100 divided by 10 gave me 10, and 60 divided by 10 gave me 6. I knew I was trying to get to 25%, and 10 doesn't go into 25 evenly. So I took this and I cut it in half again. And I said 10%, half of that is 5, half of 6 is 3. And then from there, I was able to show 5 times 5 would give me 25%, and 3 times 5 would give me 15. Okay. Question 3 was asking for 10%, which is a common skill that we've used a ton this year. So again, 100 divided by 10 gives you 10%, and 90 divided by 10 gives you 9. So your solution for question 3 is 9. Now for question 4, 4, 5, and 6, I used equivalent fractions. Couple ways I want to talk you through these. First one, when I'm finding 50% of 70, when I set this up as an equivalent fraction, I know that 70 isn't a factor of 100. It does not go in evenly, but I noticed that 50 is half of 100. So this fraction is equivalent to 1/2. So really what I was doing was I was trying to find a fraction equivalent to 1/2 where the denominator was 70. So I'm showing you here that 50 times 2 gave you 100. And here, if I work backwards, 70 divided by 2 is 35, or 35 times 2 is 70. So either way, your solution is 35 because 50% is half and 35 is half of 70. Question 5 was nice because your denominators were had common factors. So if I'm finding 80% of 500, 100 times 5 will give me 500. So 80 times 5 would then give me 400. So my solution would be 400. Okay. Last one for 75% of 80. I noticed here that 75 hundredths could be simplified down to 3/4. And that was helpful because, again, 180, 80 is not a factor of 100. But when I simplified 75 hundredths down to 3/4, I noticed that I could multiply the denominator of 4 by 20 to get 80. And 3 times 20 gave me a numerator of 60, which this fraction as well, 60/80ths, when I simplify it, is 3/4, which means these are all equivalent. So 60 was the solution. 60 is 75% of 80. Okay. So there's lots of different ways that you can do these. What I've done for this video is I just posted the solutions here for you so you can check your answers. If you have questions about any of these, please drop a comment on Google Classroom when I post this link, and I'd be happy to go through them. The only reason I'm stopping is because there's 4, 5, or even 6 different ways that you can find the answers to these. So I just gave you a couple strategies that you could use for questions 1 through 6, but please let me know if you have questions on the rest of these, either during a Google Meet or drop a comment, and I'd be happy to help you with the work. Keep working hard, you guys. I'm really proud of you, and I will talk with you.